I can't keep up. There's too much work. I'll never finish it all. As I find myself at my cluttered desk, the clock chimes midnight, and these thoughts continue to echo in my mind. Papers are scattered everywhere. My laptop screen is cluttered with tasks awaiting attention, and my phone persistently buzzes with incoming messages. It seems as though the weight of my responsibilities is becoming overwhelming, leaving me with a sense of impending suffocation. There's a common expectation for young professionals like me to appear composed and in control. Yet beneath the surface, I'm struggling with the weight of pressure from both my job and my family. Every day feels like a race, and with each passing moment, the finish line seems to drift further away. Perhaps you have experienced a similar sensation, as if the air is being squeezed from your lungs by the weight of endless tasks ahead. There was a day when the weight of stress felt overwhelming, and in that moment, I realized I needed to take action. It was a Thursday that felt like it would never end. This morning, I found myself sharing updates on several projects during our team meeting. After a long night spent perfecting every detail, I found myself battling heavy eyelids and a sluggish mind. I noticed the deep lines of concern on my manager's forehead as I spoke, and I could feel my voice trembling. Did she believe I wasn't prepared? As I began to question my abilities, I pressed on, reassuring myself that I would find my way back in due time. As I faced a multitude of emails, each one seemed to weigh down on me, adding to the burden I was already carrying. I found myself reflecting on the open house I was set to host that afternoon. As I realized I hadn't examined the details closely, a wave of panic washed over me. What if I overlook something important? What if they notice that I'm struggling? As I sat at my desk, I took a moment to enjoy a sandwich, all the while sifting through a jumble of notes that seemed to reflect my scattered thoughts. Time seemed to slip away, and suddenly, I found myself caught in the midst of traffic. I arrived at the open house just as the first guests were beginning to gather. My heart quickened, and beads of sweat trickled down my forehead. I put on a smile and began my speech, yet midway through, the size of the master bedroom slipped from my mind. My words faltered, and warmth spread across my cheeks as a buyer posed a question that left me momentarily speechless. The event stretched endlessly, filled with forced smiles and a growing sense of unease. Feeling weary, I found myself slumped in my car, but I knew I needed to return to the office to complete some paperwork. At that moment, my phone began to ring. My mom reached out to me, seeking my assistance for a family party that was planned for the upcoming weekend. I felt an overwhelming urge to scream, but I found myself saying yes and assuring them I would return later. By 10 p.m., I just got home, feeling the weight of a headache, having skipped dinner, and realizing I had left my emails unanswered. I collapsed onto my bed, gazing up at the ceiling, lost in thought about how I would manage the challenges of the week ahead. I found myself at a point where I could no longer continue down this path. I knew I had to steer clear of that path once more. A busy week loomed ahead, and I sensed that familiar weight of apprehension settling in. However, on this occasion, I chose a different path. On Sunday, I took a moment to sit down with my notebook and reflect on everything that needed my attention. I carefully listed out my meetings, open houses, paperwork, and the various family obligations that awaited me. It felt overwhelming. In that moment, a realization dawned on me. It was important to reflect on what drains my energy and what revitalizes me. I noted tasks that I might delegate or postpone, such as some paperwork that a coworker could handle and a meeting that I could choose to miss. I reached out to my mom and expressed my willingness to assist with the party, while gently emphasizing the importance of keeping things simple. I decided to take a 30-minute break before the next open house. Stepping outside, I took a moment to inhale the crisp, fresh air, allowing it to wash over me and clear my thoughts. Upon my arrival, a sense of stability immersed over me. I greeted my guests with warmth, offering a smile when faced with a challenging question, responding gently, "I'll double-check that." They nodded, a subtle gesture that conveyed their appreciation. After that, I found a cozy cafe where I could pause for a moment. I enjoyed a meal and took the time to jot down my thoughts while the day was still vivid in my mind. With a sense of determination, I completed my tasks at the office. That night, I spent an hour assisting my parents before finally heading to bed. It may not have been flawless, yet I felt a sense of control and an absence of fatigue. I allowed myself the space to reflect, and it proved to be effective. That small shift led me to believe that I could manage it all. That week transformed everything. I found myself running on stress and burnout. But what was the reason behind it? It was a burden, a weight to embody the ideal daughter, to excel in my career, and to ensure that I never disappointed anyone. As I reflect on my childhood, I remember the countless sacrifices my parents made for my well-being, and it instilled in me a deep desire to honor their efforts and make it all worthwhile. I agreed to everything, even when it caused me pain, because the thought of saying no felt like a disappointment to them. As I paused to reflect on my tasks, it became clear to me just how overwhelming it was to continue on this path. I sensed a deep exhaustion, as if my energy was slowly depleting, leaving me feeling drained and weary. I sensed a deep exhaustion, as if my energy was slowly depleting, leaving me feeling drained and weary. I reflected on nature, considering how trees rest during the winter months and awaken with the arrival of spring. I found that I needed that too. Healing begins with taking the time to rest. It's important to seek not only physical rest, but also to find relaxation and peace for our minds and hearts. I realized that my relentless pace was hindering my own growth. I selected this journey in pursuit of joy and success, rather than anxiety. What value does it hold if I am unable to experience that joy and success? Rest is not a sign of weakness. It is what allows me to be fully engaged and present. On that day, as I penned my tasks, I came to understand that I could let go of the burdens that sapped my energy and focus on what truly nourished me. It's not about accomplishing every task. It's about focusing on what truly holds significance. Each Sunday, I take a moment to sit down with my list. I make a note of what truly matters, what can hold off for a while, and when it's time for me to pause, even if it's just for a brief 15 minutes to breathe or take a walk, it provides me with a sense of stability. When you find yourself feeling overwhelmed and burnt out, consider taking a moment to jot down your tasks. Reflect on what might be draining your energy and allow yourself the space to breathe and regroup. Rest is not something you earn. It is essential for your growth and improvement. When you pause and rest, it's not a sign of failure or slowing down. Rather, it's a step towards improvement.